Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this evening's debate on Richmond's Measure N. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone for coming out and supporting our students. I'd also like to thank the school administration as well as the many teachers who made tonight's event possible. I would especially like to thank my students from periods 5 and 6 for having the kind of trust and confidence that it has taken to pull this off. A round of applause for them, please. Woo! And while you only see 12 students up here on the stage, it's taken almost about 60 students to get us where we are tonight. This evening is the culmination of 4 weeks of hard work.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank you all for coming out here and taking your time to listen to what we have to say. Now, there's been a lot of questioning about Measure N, but if there's one thing that I want you all to remember about it tomorrow while you go out to vote, it's yes on N. Now, questions have arisen because of Measure N, but a lot of it is somewhat unclear. People may just refer to it as the soda tax, but it's not just a tax on soda. It is a soda that it is a tax on all beverages that have added non-caloric sweeteners. This includes sport and energy drinks and non-sweetened sweetened juices, as well as sodas. It is just a simple penny per ounce tax for each of these beverages. Now, a penny per ounce is not a lot when you compare it to the amount that may have to be used to combat diabetes, overweight and obesity later on.
My name is Melissa Avalos, and I am here today to urge you to vote no on Measure N. Measure N has been a controversial topic on the news lately. This measure, also known as the soda tax, is a regressive tax. A tax on the people. A tax on the people that can least afford it. Ladies and gentlemen, this so-called soda tax is not just necessarily a tax on soda. No. Measure N would require an additional business license tax that would affect our small local businesses. The tax would be 1 cent per ounce of any sugar-sweetened drinks. This so-called soda tax is a tax that was proposed in hopes of reducing obesity rates in Richmond, which are extremely high. Although we do agree that this is a great reason for concern, we do not agree that the solution is to tax the very people that need the help.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jasmine Gonzalez, and I will be delivering the rebuttal against Measure N. To begin, I'm going to discuss with you all some things I understand. I understand that obesity rates in Richmond are through the roof, so to say. I understand that the Richmond area holds some of the highest obesity ratings in California. I understand that soda contains mass amounts of added sugar. I understand that soda is a leading cause for obesity. Yet what I do not understand is why many individuals, and possibly a lot of you in this room, here tonight want to tax the people of Richmond.
And thank you for coming out to our debate on the highly controversial Measure N. We have heard a great deal from the no people, yet have we heard the truth? Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to inform you the other side of the story our opposition has so carefully ignored. I'm here to pull out of the shadows information that the no people have paid millions to keep out of your ears. Millions to silence people like Dr. Ritterman and supporters of Measure N who fought so hard to bring it out to light. We have heard our opposition call this a tax on the people. In reality, this is a tax on what it is written out to be, a measure to combat obesity. Yet the no people continue to tell you misguided lies. This tax is on beverages with added sugars, not on the people. Another point the no people have voiced to confuse you is Measure N is lacking. It needs Measure O to be complete. Those are just misguided words to keep your attention away from the truth. Do you not want to say yes for a measure that is alive? You see, this is the measure for the people.
A no on Measure N is like saying yes to obesity. So wouldn't a no just let the obesity rate rise?
A no on Measure N would simply not let this tax on caloric drinks pass. But would you not agree that the foundation of soda drinking also starts in the home? And as the rebuttal person spoke, Jose Cuervo, he stated that It all starts with initiative and education. And that is what we on the no side also believe, that it should also start with initiative and education.
I am aware that Measure N is a fee on local businesses. Are you aware that stores could possibly increase the price of other things such as milk to cover the cost that the city is now demanding from the license fee?
Is it not better to pay a few more extra dollars now when we could stop obesity rates from curing? Well, they're complaining, they're worrying about how much it will cost local business and Richmond residents. Yet, are they aware how much it will cost later on when the disease is bigger and wider spread to actually cure it? So I think to answer their question, it's simpler now to stop the disease while it's spreading than when it is fully taking roots on every single Richmond resident and harder to cure.
In your opinion, which one's pay a couple extra cents, probably maybe 40, 50 the most, or to actually be in debt for a huge amount of like you have to, it's too later.
Well, it's not that we're against to spending more money now on soda than later on the medical bill. It's just that we are against unfairly taxing the people and where the steering of the money was actually going to go. And if we have no direction of where the money is going, I have no intention of voting against it.
What I understand is that the monies gained from this tax will go into Richmond's general fund. What I don't understand is why the money won't be going in its own specific account. Clearly, Measure N was flawed. If it wasn't, Measure O wouldn't have been created. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, the reason that Measure N is going to be easier to pass if it were to have its own separate fund, Measure N would have required a 66% vote, which is nearly impossible for anything.
Citizens. Again, the question is, do you think that these costs may cause people to shop outside Richmond and harm businesses and citizens?
There will certainly be some of that, but we expect that other cities will join in. Movements start with someone going first and showing the way. Our kids are too important to wait around for someone else to do something. We need to do something now because this is our city and our children and our future. Thank you.
As I previously stated in my rebuttal statement, Measure N would cost local businesses over $9 million in losses. It would also implement $12.8 million in taxes and losses of revenue. This would ultimately only force Richmond citizens to shop elsewhere.
The question again for the yes group, explain how taxing sodas encourages one to drink water, especially considering the price of bottled water.
While we do agree that that is a valid question, we would like to state that even though bottled water might be slightly more expensive than soda, isn't it better to pay those extra dollars than to pay all that money later for medical bill? And yet, while you argue bottled water might be unhealthy, doesn't California have one of the cleanest tap waters in the world? There's people who don't have water we have and wish they had it, and yet we drink soda when there's people out there dying for clean water and we have it and we just throw it away to drink a poison like soda?
How is taxing the soda going to encourage the water consumption? That was one of your central tenets, if I recall.
Well, because it's going to raise awareness. It's going to start an initiative. It's going to make people realize. It's going to make people ask why they're taxing soda. It's going to make people look into it and realize the soda is very unhealthy for them. And it's gonna make people realize that tap water at home, it's free, unlike soda, which is being taxed.
On sugar-added drinks isn't a solution to obesity or even a first step to a solution to obesity. What is?
Well, we believe that the tax is lacking something very important, and that is that it would need to educate our youth as to why things are bad for them, as to why they shouldn't drink that soda. They know that that soda is going to be more expensive, but do they know why that soda is going to be more expensive? No, our children will not know that if they're not educated on that. They need the knowledge. They need, like I said, why don't we look into schools and school lunches? I know that my school sells Gatorade and some other sugar-added drink. Why don't we look into schools? Well, we can, of course, like anything, ask donation. Like, we can go to local businesses. If you don't want taxes like this to be passed, why don't you donate to our cause that would teach children to eat right and proportionate their foods right, so that we don't have to get to that level of taxing our food. So we know that our children are well educated, that they will make those right choices by themselves and not have the government pushing them to make those choices. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mannix. Thank you, audience. Thanks to everybody participating this evening. I'd like to start off by saying, as you have already heard from Brian and Jose, Measure N would tax 1 cent per ounce on beverages which contain added sugars. Beverages with added sugars have no nutritional value other than calories, and new research shows that they are toxic in large quantities. Soda is not a food. It's an empty food. It keeps you thirsty. It doesn't fill you up. It's just poisoning your body. You wouldn't eat 22 packs of sugar. Why are you drinking them? As Brian has stated, obesity is clearly an issue here in Richmond, as well as the rest of the nation. 53% of 6th and 7th graders, Latino and African Americans in Richmond, are overweight and obese.
Gentlemen, my fellow Richmond citizens and residents, I am here today to tell you to do the right thing and vote no on Measure N. As my fellow companion Melissa Avilo stated, that this tax will be an extra burden on local small businesses. They do not deserve to pay the price of obesity. My comrade also points out that the money would be placed inside the general fund. What does this even mean? This means that, yeah, a couple $1,000s could go into the intended cause of fighting obesity, but the rest could go into scraping the squashed cadavers of animals on the side of the road. The other side wants you to believe that this is right, but scamming our people for money is not the solution. My colleague also states that it is not right to cause stress on the people in such harsh economic times. And she is right. As Karina Carmona, a worker at Taqueria La Estrella on 23rd Avenue, states that prices for consumers are rising, yet wages are staying the same. This is ridiculous.
There's many students scattered through the audience. You saw some of them on your way in. If they weren't speaking tonight, they were still writing position papers. I would like to remind you that you are to vote on your way out. We have some food and refreshments, and I will come out.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships.
The after voting was yes 38 and no 27, where before it had been yes 31, no 41, so the yeses won.
If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms